In 1944, the British Secret Intelligence Service, or SIS, tried developing a chemical that would affect the blood of a human being. A copy of this lab report can be found somewhere deep within the old MI5 building in London. This chemical was derived with mixtures of nomofungin and communism, as well as myparaformidine. The chemical would modify the blood's chemical properties and structure so that if shot or cut, the blood would have the ability to freeze or solidify to where the person was shot. This would stop bleeding and can make a person far stronger than an average human being. However, a chemical like this would be incredibly expensive and only offered to the most valuable of people, such as MI5 units and important politicians. Other things that have to happen in order for the blood to solidify include increasing the amount of blood plasma from 55 to 59%. Modified blood cells, when oxygenated, constitute percentages of 96%. Therefore, the subject has to breathe deeper or more often. Since the thrombocytes seem to get into the way of modified blood cells, they are removed prior to modification. The medulla oblongata is also modified by a chemical that familiarizes it with modified blood cells. Also, since the blood cells expand when solidified, 4 to 6% of the normal blood value must be removed. Blood vessels, of course, are changed a slight bit by the chemical, as well as in order to handle the heavier cells. Test subjects can be any male over 21. Subjects are compensated with £35,000. The subject will be provided with hospital beds and some entertainment. The subject must remain on an EKG, and his heart monitor must be watched at all times. Once the chemical is introduced into the subject, he must be monitored for 24 hours. No food must be given until the 25th hour. All requests made by the subject in the first 24 hours are also to be ignored. Beginning with the 25th hour, the subject may be given painkillers and proper meals. Patient must continue to be monitored until the 72nd hour. After 72 hours, the subject is to be escorted to the test room. The subject is then to be bound and sedated. The left arm is to be cut open 4 inches, and the right arm is to be shot by a .45 automatic. Observe the effects. After hour 144, the subject is to be taken to the test room again, and the subject is to be shot in multiple places without sedation. Each place and effect is to be observed and recorded. The 3 subjects were male, 22, 23, and 29 respectively. The subjects also swore to secrecy. The chemical was successfully administered to all 3 subjects. Within the first hour, all 3 of them started screaming in agony. Surprisingly, this stopped by hour 3. Subjects 1 and 3 requested a copy of the King James Bible after hour 6, but it was denied. The fellow researchers decided this meant that they believed they would die. Subjects 1 and 3 were granted a copy after hour 25. Painkillers were administered to all 3 subjects. After 72 hours, the subjects were taken into the test rooms. The 3 seemed delighted to leave the room. After sedation, each subject had his left arm cut open by a scalpel and his right shot by a .45. When the scalpel penetrated subject 1's skin, it reacted with a dark amorphous solid substance filling the cut almost as fast as the skin was opened up. It sealed so fast that the scalpel was stuck in his arm. The injury caused by the .45 automatic bullet was sealed in by the dark amorphous blood within 3 seconds. The results were the same for subjects 2 and 3. After 84 hours, all 3 of the subjects started to act unusual. Instead of using the entertainment around them, they sat in their beds and groaned, as if they were sad or ashamed. Subjects failed to make eye contact. After 110 hours, subject 1 passed out. Blood tests could not be run because the blood was solid and amorphous. The only thing that was determined was that the pH of the blood, which was at 5, was far more acidic than usual. A researcher was sent in after 127 hours to take blood tests in all 3. Subjects have become increasingly silent. All 3 have shown signs of aggression. The doctor found the pH values to be 4.3, 4.6, and 4.4 for the subjects respectively. The pH values were decreasing. A blood test was taken at 140 hours. The pH values haven't changed. The experiment will continue as planned. At 144 hours, the subjects were escorted into the test room. The three had looked far different from the beginning. Their skin had turned to a shade of gray and looked noticeably thicker. Their eye colors had changed to pure black, and they were bloodshot. The experiment will continue as planned, but the chemical must be remodeled before repeating it. Before opening fire on them, though, the subjects attacked with inhuman strength. They immediately pounced on their attackers and used their teeth as an effective weapon. 6 armed men lost consciousness to their attackers as their teeth touched their skin. One's arm was devoured by the subject. When MI5 agents entered to neutralize the room, the subjects were reported missing. The chemical must have had a negative effect on the medulla oblongata, causing aggression. The chemical also affected the salivary glands. Superhuman movements were caused by the enhanced blood cells within the muscles. The subject's lust for human flesh is unknown. The location of the subjects is currently unknown. Research for this project will be discontinued. Evidence, including this laboratory report, will be classified as SIS, top secret.